So welcome guys to Resto Designs and to another how-to video. Today's video, we're covering cruise control. You know, there's times when you're driving around and you're just boring and it's tiring, and you're trying to maintain the speed and it's just, you know, it's really quite tiring doing this long journey, you're not looking forward to it. If you had cruise control, it wouldn't be the case. You'd set the speed that you're happy with, you know, at the speed limit or wherever you want to set it at, and you can just cruise. And you can't switch off, obviously, but it makes it a lot more relaxing. You can rest your feet, you can just focus on the road, have a nice conversation, listen to the music, and it just helps with the journey. And you're actually sharper because you're not as tired as you would have been if you're trying to focus and maintain the speed, as well as trying to keep within the speed limit, which can be quite hard sometimes. So having cruise control is safe and beneficial. So in today's video is going to be a step-by-step on how to fit cruise control on your Mark IV Golf. Now, this is what this looks like, what I've got here, because I've actually taken it out of another vehicle. Normally, most people would actually, you can buy the Stalk on eBay with the wiring loom for not a lot of money, a non-original one, or you can buy second-hand Stalks on eBay or new ones from the dealer still. Here, this has obviously got everything, it's literally almost plug and play. So it's really straightforward. And like I said, I'll be showing you guys step by step how to do this. First thing you always do, because you're going to be dealing with the airbag, is always to remove the earth terminal on the battery. You can do the positive one if you want as well, but generally I just like to do the earth one. So it's a 10mm spanner, and there we go, and tuck it out of the way. So the next thing to do is actually do the steering wheel adjuster, move it all the way down to try and take off the airbag. It's got these little access holes which allow you to actually take it off with the proper tool. You can use a screwdriver as well, but I actually have the right tool for the job. So there you have it, took it off. And you've got to be careful not to damage the wire on it. You've got to remove that yellow plug there. So the next plug you need to take off is this little one on here, because otherwise you will damage the cassette, as they call it. So you unplug this as well. Okay, so next on the hit list will be this triple square or spline. Make sure you've got the steering wheel straight as well before you do that. Nice little helpful tip, I also put like a little mark on the steering wheel, a little mark on the spline on the inside, so you can never get it wrong. Right, so at this point, this is what you're left with. Be careful not to turn this, because you will actually damage. If you get it wrong, if you do like a whole turn or something, you will break the kind of the wire that's inside there. So you've got a few Phillips in there. You've also got to take off this handle, because you've got to get this bottom trim off, as well as the top one off. And one there, and then the top half can actually come off. It's also connected to this, so basically you just pull this forward, this trim, like so. Do not push it up, just pull it towards you, and it comes off as a complete unit. All right, next thing, this is, like I said, they call it the spiral cassette, which is for the airbag. First thing we do is unclip it, and then there's literally 1, 2, and a third one at the bottom on this side, I think it is. Yep, here we go. And then just very carefully take that off, not to damage it. Put it somewhere safe, out of the way. Right, so next thing we need to do is to take off the wiper stalk, and it's actually just this little clip. I like to use like a little pick, and then you can actually pull it straight off. So now to remove the indicator stalk, all you need to do is this little clamp here with a T30, I think it is, and literally slide it off, and it lets you remove the indicator stalk. And it's just a case then of just unplugging it, because you've only got a single plug on this. At this point, you don't need to go any further here. Next thing you need to do is remove the fuse box cover and these lower trims here. Okay, so I've removed the relay holder and the power grid, kind of the supply that goes into there, so I can reach up those plugs up to the top of there. You can hopefully see the orange one. And what I've done is you remove, it's a bit of a struggle, but you can. So I've removed the black plug, which only has 2 wires going to it, and the plug itself was this one. I've actually cut them off, because what I'm going to do is, if you look on the new one, there's a lot more than just 2 wires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder these two wires that match onto the plug, and then the others are the ones that actually run to the stalk for the cruise control. Also, this black and blue wire is a communication wire. You can literally put that to any other black and blue wire, which is quite straightforward. So what you have to do is put the stalk into place, run the wire through, because obviously once you've actually plugged it in, it's a lot harder to actually run that through. So yeah, run it through that way, and then it's just a case of plugging this black plug back in, and then soldering these two wires to match, and then this one. All right, so this is really quite straightforward, really easy. Like you saw, just remove that black plug, plugged in the new one. Those two wires, literally soldered them together, which was a white and yellow and the black and red wire, and then just put this relay holders back into place. All that was left then is just one wire, which is this black and blue wire, which is the communication wire, which you can splice into any black and blue wire that you find, which I've done there. The wiring side is really quite straightforward. It actually takes less time to wire it up than it does to actually replace the stalk and remove all the plastic trims that are involved. There's only one thing that's left to do, but I'll show you what that is. Let me just put this all back together again, and then we'll test, make sure the brakes work, make sure there's power going to it once we've put everything back on the airbag and stuff. And then it's just the last part coming up. That's it, we're almost done. That's it, it's all plugged in, and now it's just a matter of just pushing it on, like so, and that's it. And now we can plug the battery back on, and then I'll show you what the next step is. The ECU doesn't see that you have cruise control, so you need to actually, unfortunately, activate it with VADCOM. Okay guys, so I've put the VADCOM on, and as you saw in this still picture, it's actually working perfectly. Unfortunately, because this is an early car, some of these clocks, I think the motor meter clocks, don't actually have the light for that illuminates when you turn the cruise control on. It's like a little green light that shows like a little clock, like a little speedo clock. That only comes, it seems to be on the VDO clocks. This is a motor meter clock, so don't worry if you don't have the light on. I mean, actually using it now for the first time, it's actually annoying having the light on, because who likes lights on their dashboard? So I always turn it off, and then you have to turn it on and press the button. With the light actually not working, I just leave it on constantly. When I want to put it on, I literally just press the button and I'm away, and I can set it at the cruise control at the speed that I want it to be at. So there you guys have, you need the VADCOM unfortunately to actually switch this on. So thanks for watching. There's loads more of how-to videos coming, and also check out the playlists here on how-tos, on VW how-tos, as well as if you want to see more content on this car, click here. There's loads more content on this Mark IV. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.